Hola.
Hey guys, we are Original Intent. This is my wife Monica, and I'm Rainy. So
What we do is we help to empower Christian millennials to discover who they are, what they're meant for, and how to do it so that they can fulfill their calling of God in their life.
Today we kind of wanted to just uncover a little bit of what we're really passionate to share and to spread in the world, and it's the topic of hearing God. So early on, I went to a ministry school, and one of the main topics was hearing God, and I knew before I went there, I knew about hearing God, but I'd never really had a huge community talk about hearing Him. So at this school, I started learning about hearing God, and I know you've probably experienced this. I know I struggled, oh man, that was probably just me. Is that God? And there can tend to be a lot of noise and confusion when you try to start hearing God. But one thing that really changed my life when it came to hearing God was that I realized that actually, because I'm submitted and surrendered to the Lord, I'm living surrendered to the Lord, that more of my thoughts are actually God's thoughts, and more often than not, I'm actually thinking what God is actually speaking to me through my thoughts and my desires and actions. And this really freed me, because God's not a tricky God. That's something that Monica shared with me like 6 months ago. Monica had this revelation, and it's like God's not a tricky God. And I think that's so true. I think we confuse it so much, and it could be so simple. So we hear God so much more than we think we do through our just natural thoughts and desires.
Yeah, I guess, and to piggyback and share my experience, I went to actually the same ministry school as him, but at a different time, and we learned about hearing God, and it was life-changing for me.
Mm-hmm.
And got to bless so many people just by sharing words of encouragement, words of knowledge, words of wisdom. But then I shifted into the season where hearing God through impressions or pictures or things like that in my imagination just felt so much harder. And in this season of life, He's actually showing me that like the Bible says, when we delight ourselves in the Lord, He'll give us the desires of our heart. And that He actually, because He lives in us, and I'm not referring to fleshly desires or anything like that.
Right.
I'm talking about those things that come up in your heart, that your heart comes alive, or you get excited about, and and it's so easy to neglect and be oh, I don't know if that's God's will, or I don't know if that's God, or that's just me. But actually He speaks through our desires. He speaks through our wants and our needs. You have real needs. You your needs matter, your desires matter. God created you for a purpose and with intention. He has a purpose for your life, and He wants to use you to change the world around you for His kingdom. And so He's been taking me on a journey in this season of discovering that oh wow, this is how God has created me. And I desire and enjoy these things for a purpose, and it's really good, and it's actually God-given.
Right.
And I can embrace that and pursue that because it's from God. I think we're passionate about demystifying God's will. It's not elusive. It's not hard to figure out.
God's not playing games with us.
And not confusing.
Yeah. Or fearful. There's no fear in it.
Yeah. I at one point, before Raymond and I met, I struggled for a time, and I've talked with other women who struggled with this, of this like fear of like, oh man, what if God has me marry someone I'm not attracted to? And there was a guy pursuing me, and I just like I wasn't interested.
Yeah.
And there were so many things, little things that just bothered me, and I was like wrestling wrestling with the Lord, praying, and my stepdad just simply told me like, there's probably a good reason that you're not interested in him. And that, like, it was so simple and so little, but I was like, my mom of like, oh yeah, you're right, like there is a good reason, because like I don't have to run over myself. God doesn't want to run over me. God doesn't neglect me. He cares about me. He nurtures me. He's created me intentionally, and I'm thankful because I met this guy, and he's perfect for me. Yeah, so that's kind of our passion. Just to wrap it up really quickly, we are passionate about helping you to heal your heart, discover your purpose, and redeem your future so that you can fulfill your God-given calling in life. We believe it's so easy to get stuck in just the should-dos or have-tos of life, and we want to invite you on that journey of actually stepping out and diligently pursuing that thing that God has created you for, because you are a world changer.
Yeah.
And you're created really well.
Yeah. And real quick, right before we end, if things popped into your mind as we were talking, like, feel free to comment below and just share your stories about hearing God, or like your thoughts or concerns about something that we may have said. But yeah, we want to start conversations about this, because I feel like it's such a topic that if people were free to hear God, that and didn't feel hindered, then this world would look a lot different. So anyways,
Bless you.
Bless you. Peace.
Juicy.